Hi, and welcome along to DR Sports. It's time for the weekend roundup. You see, I ain't done it for so long. The weekend roundup, because we haven't had games, right? It's been all about the World Cup, which we cover completely here on DR Sports. But now it's back down to the nitty gritty of the Premier League. It kicked off again yesterday, and it was brilliant.
Was it?
Maybe not for Nicky, right? But it's brilliant. Introducing Nicky from West Ham Fan TV's in the building, man. Great to have you here, man.
Thanks, man.
Big up to Nicky. And Matisse, of course, big Chelsea fan in the building as well. And I'm here as well. And, you know, we're going to look back at the games yesterday and also look forward to the games that are going to be taking place later on today and tomorrow. It's been a busy Christmas period, despite the fact that the World Cup only finished just, a week ago?
Yeah, well,
mad,
last Sunday.
Yeah, final.
Right, and then the players have had to go straight back into action. But you know what? It was as if, like, the way the games panned out yesterday, the excitement, the amount of goals that were scored and that, it was like we ain't been away.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
In most, anyway.
I can't talk too soon. I ain't played yet.
Where shall we start?
I know where you want to start. You want to start with Arsenal.
Let's start with Tottenham.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I'm going to get to Arsenal, man.
Fair enough.
To Arsenal. I'm going to start with Tottenham because that was the first game of the day. And I'll tell you what, I watched that game. It was a really entertaining game. 2-2 in the end. Brentford went into a 2-0 lead. But I hate to say this, but you've got to give credit to Tottenham.
Again.
Again.
Yeah.
Another comeback by them, man. I mean, they're the comeback kids, aren't they?
Yeah, man. What's that, fourth time this season? They come from behind and
I think
either drawn or won games.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too impressed with them. I thought they was done and dusted first half. I really did. But credit's where credit's due, isn't it? You know what I mean? They don't give up. They keep on battling on and they got the result in the end.
Some of the goals they conceded were just childish.
Shocking
Some
goals.
really bad goals.
The first goal, right? The second goal. I'm not even on about the goal itself was poor, but the corner that was given away by Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you see on Hackney Marshes, isn't it?
Under no pressure, just shanks the ball out for a corner, and he's probably thinking, oh, and then that's actually what's led to the goal. But even the first goal as well. The first goal, the awareness is just awful. Like they don't know what's around them. They're being pulled one way, pulled back the other. But this is the story of Tottenham all season. They keep going behind 2 goals, whatever it is. I saw somebody saying that they're doing this. They're kind of approaching first half on purpose in this relaxed manner because they're saving their energy for the last part of the season. They don't want to go full belt for the full 90 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
But that doesn't really make much sense.
Well, it's still 2 points dropped for them in a game that they would have earmarked a game like that as a game that they could get 3 points in. Ivan Toney, again, he was a man in a match in the game.
Yeah.
Another great performance by him. We were sort of talking about him off air, the fact that a couple of weeks' time, he might not be playing no more for a long period of time because he's got these betting allegations hanging over him. But he's been exceptional. I mean, there was a game just before the break against City, which he was brilliant in, and he was the guy again yesterday, wasn't he?
Do you know what? Tying into the World Cup, I know, he's got these allegations, and there's a lot of talk that maybe that was the reason that he didn't go away with England. It's because of these allegations. If we'd have taken him, I think it would have been a different story. He just offers something different. I think he's a very, very good player. He's dynamic. He shuts down. I think he's got everything about his game. Apparently, right, he's the best penalty taker in the world. Did you know that?
His penalties are unreal.
He's never missed one.
That's true. If we'd had him at the World Cup now, instead of Harry Kane.
Who would have took the penalty?
Apparently, statistically, he's the best penalty taker in the world.
His penalties, when he just steps up that little one step, just waits for the keeper to slightly go the other way and then just bangs it in the other corner.
Yeah,
he's a better footballer than Callum Wilson, probably, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of an all-round striker, he can do a lot more. But obviously, Callum Wilson is a good fox in the box. But I was saying we should have taken both of them. Obviously, the whole betting thing is going to mean that he can't go. It's weird watching him.
Why though? He's playing in the Premier League.
It's the FA that are investigating him, isn't it? So they're not.
Yeah, but they're still allowing him to play in the Premier League. Yeah, he can. He's going to play against us on Friday. Yeah, but he's already been charged with these incidents. Yeah. Well, why not? He should. The World Cup would have been finished before that. So
it's very weird seeing him do well now because you know what's coming. You know he's going to be banned. So it's like such a shame. I was saying it off air. It's such a shame because he would have been getting a big move, massive move next. He would have been any club that needs a striker would have been looking at
Arsenal.
Him. Yeah.
I look at him and I'm like, he'd be perfect for Arsenal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This time.
The way he holds the ball up, his intelligence,
Yeah.
the way he brings people in, and also he scores goals. And like you said, in his penalty taking is sublime as well. He's an exceptional player who's done it at all levels. Did it at Peterborough, scored loads and loads of goals.
Yeah.
Done it in the Championship, was the record goal scorer until Mitrovic broke it.
Yeah.
And then comes to the Premier League. Obviously, the first question is going to be asked, can you do it in the Premier League? He's done it in the Premier League. And you're right, he was on the verge now of a real big mega move,
You guys
I
would have
think.
took him. We would have took him.
Yeah.
Man United would have definitely taken him. They need a striker.
Yeah, that's ruined now, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's ruined.
100%.
Because he will be out for a while.
Sort of
Yeah,
like
you can't buy someone
the
that's
modern Vardy, isn't he? And he's,
Yeah.
you know, this could scupper anything that he's who's going to take a chance in? What are Brentford going to do with him? Are they going to stand by him? Are they going to, you know, cut their tyres and all this sort of thing? It depends how long
I don't think
it
they'll
is.
cut their ties.
If it's 2 years, 3 years, they might.
It could be as long as that.
Could be. Well,
I
who
can't
knows?
see it being as long as
Could be
that.
life. Who knows?
Do you think it could be, isn't it? I mean, the
Oh,
sheer
poof,
amount
life.
of bets, it's a lot of bets.
Yeah, it's like 250, 270 sort of incidents that he's got hanging over
Man,
him.
I hope it's not nothing like that. But he's a great player. The other striker in that game was Harry Kane.
Yeah.
There was a lot of questions being asked of him, of course. You know, I mean, I was at that game against France when it right behind the goal, the ball nearly hit me in my head. Right when it came flying out. No, I didn't. I'm like, I've got to exaggerate it. But he went miles over.
Head, that was it.
But there was a lot of people saying, how is he going to respond? Well,
Yeah.
that was a great header he
Responded.
scored yesterday. He's a good It's annoying, man.
He's a great player.
He's annoying because
Whether
he's...
people like it or not, he's a great player.
He's a
He
great
might not
player.
be able to do it in the big moments, and he might kind of fumble the bag when it matters. But again, I think that's down to his environment. I've said it on my own channel that I feel like if two parents come together and they've only experienced, bad things, a child is in for a rough ride. England and Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? That's not easy.
Is he world class?
Yeah,
That's
he is. It's
is he?
world-class
Because the
goal
thing
scorer.
is now, right now, this question
Of course
I've
he's world class.
I've had loads of arguments with Toby about this. I used to say he ain't world class.
He is world class.
because he's not done it at international level, right? To me, when in them big competitions come around, he doesn't deliver, right? Then now, over the past year, I've changed my mind and said, no, actually, he's world class. He is world class, man, because
we would all take him.
Yeah, and he's forever scoring goals. But then I was disappointed with him at the World Cup again. So I'm like,
He's still world
because
class,
when it comes, what is world class? Because Mbappe's world class. Because when the big stage came, he showed up. Messi showed up. Neymar even though he had an injury, showed up, scored them big.
Messi showed up this time.
No, but he showed up.
Those were his
No, but he
first
showed up.
knockout World Cup goals. People
He
were saying,
showed up. He
obviously.
won the Copa America as well.
But that
So
was
he
only
a-
recently. I think.
Right,
I think for Harry Kane, it's not over yet. Like his.
Does he
his-
have to? Does he have to?
He does
have
have-
a big tournament for us to say world class, or is he world class now?
He's world class.
I think he's a world-class goal scorer.
World-class player for me.
But then why don't you do it when we get to them
World
big?
class player.
Yeah, but that, I mean, you look at Roberto Baggio, world-class player. Yeah, agree with that.
Yeah.
Missed probably the biggest penalty.
No, but he was but when he played for Italy
career.
on the world level, right? He may have missed that penalty, but on the world level, he was consistently.
Was
good
Harry?
in
Would you
those
say
big
Harry?
tournaments?
Would you say Harry Kane was bad this tournament? I don't think he was.
I don't think he was that bad.
He wasn't that great. Though.
Wasn't
He
great,
He
no.
wasn't, what was you know? What I mean, I'm saying right that when we get to them tournaments, you want your big guy to show up. For me, he's never really lit up a tournament yet.
What England player really has, apart from Sterling, maybe in the last?
No, but I think like this tournament, Bellingham lit it up. I thought Saka lit it up. You've had other tournaments like where other players. I don't. Harry Kane's not gone to a tournament yet. For what we know he can do in the Premier League.
But you've got different players with different attributes, and what Harry Kane does very well for Tottenham is he drops in and he's becoming like what Rooney was becoming at the end of his career, sort of like dropping into that centre of midfield like that Teddy Sheringham role.
Yeah,
and I think he's excellent at doing that.
Still scores goals.
I don't think it quite works for England the same way it does for Tottenham because he knows Tottenham inside out, and I don't think England sort of play that way. I don't know whether. I don't think he's going to be in the next World Cup, is he? What is he now? 30?
No, I think he will.
I reckon he will. The thing is,
he'll be
right?
our
The
first
thing
choice
is,
striker in the next World Cup.
he didn't have a bad tournament, right? He didn't have a terrible tournament, but he didn't.
He's not going
You
to
know
age
what I mean?
badly.
For what we know he can do, I don't know. I still expect him more. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
I think there's a lot of players that fail to deliver it. He's 29, so he'll be 33. He'll be
in the next World
Cup. There's a lot of big names that will disappoint you on the World Cup stage purely because the system's different or the manager's doesn't cater to their style or whatever it will be. But for me, on a week-to-week basis, which is how you have to judge it, I wouldn't look at a tournament.
What about when he's got to finals, like I mean,
we'll get to
other finals and things like that. He's not really.
I think you don't. You wouldn't judge a player that has a great tournament and say they're world class because they have to do it week to week in club football. Club football is what makes you world class because you have to go every single week and consistency. A tournament is a tournament. There's loads of players that have had great tournaments and have done absolutely nothing in club football.
No, but I think to be world class,
you have to carry that form into the tournament.
Yeah. Because even, all right, so I know I'm digressing slightly, right? Here's another player that now I'm throwing this out there. And again, people might come at me. And listen, I'm being a bit devil's advocate here, throwing this out there to people. But we were having this debate in Qatar. Is Kevin De Bruyne world class?
Oh, of course he is, Robbie.
When has he ever done it at international level?
These are crazy.
No, hold on. I'm asking.
Robbie, he's
no, wait. One second, Mark, yeah? For his club, brilliant. We in the Premier League, week in, week out, brilliant, yeah? When has he ever done it on a world level? He's playing in one of the best, ranked number one.
Okay, that Belgium team stinks.
Belgium team, ranked number one.
They shouldn't be one.
Ranked number one in the world over several years, by the way.
Yeah.
The golden generation and that, they ain't done nothing. He's the main guy. He ain't done nothing in any tournament. How's he world class?
Well, they reached, they got third place, isn't it, in 2018?
Yeah.
Hazard had a great time. I say Hazard for me was the best player in that Belgium team. What was Kevin De Bruyne's tournament? I don't think he was
quiet.
Bad. Was it quiet?
Quiet.
I think he was involved.
I think
he was good.
You're world-class players when it comes to these.
So you're saying now De Bruyne's not world-class?
I don't know.
Do you really want to say that?
I'm putting it out there
on camera.
I'm putting it out there and asking a question.
This is why I don't play these games.
He didn't show up at the World Cup.
Yeah, but
is it us sometimes overhyping these guys?
No, he was poor in that World Cup. He was awful. But that Belgium team was not first place. It shouldn't even been top 5. I don't know why that Belgium team.
Big guys show up over the years.
100%.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's why I don't judge it on that.
Cristiano Ronaldo over the years, right? I know he didn't have a good tournament this time, but he showed up for his country, right? Over the years, right? You know what I mean? You're big players. They show up.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I wouldn't follow that rule.
I'm just asking. Why the question to you like out there? Digressing a bit off of
it is a question, but then you could say the same. Like we was having this debate during the World Cup about world class players, and they win World Cups. I know some world class Dutch players. Gullit, Van Basten. They are world class players.
Yeah.
They never won the World Cup.
Didn't win the World Cup, but they made a big impression on the international stage as well as for their club.
Yeah, they did. But,
all right. So I'm just putting it out there.
I don't know, man. With Harry Kane, he's a world class goal scorer, but sometimes I think Southgate curtails his strengths because he doesn't go all out. We've got the best. I think we've got the best attack in the world football. For strength. There are better players out there like Mbappe, Messi. Ronaldo, players like that, than what we've got. But collectively, I think we've got the best attacking depth in the world. And I think he doesn't let the shackles off of him. And I think if he did, you'd see the best of Harry Kane.
Winnerpool says KDB has also not been great in the Champions League. Right?
Because he hasn't won it.
Yeah.
Al Walid says Netherlands and Belgium have historically underachieved.
These people are lying now.
Yeah, he didn't win it, but did he?
They haven't won it, but he has been good in the Champions League.
Yeah, what's the standout games?
You guys are on a madness.
I'm just asking, what's the standout games? I mean,
I'm not a City fan. I don't remember them off the top of my head. But I know I've seen them perform very well.
Is it that overhyping? I don't know. I'm asking.
No, you guys are crazy.
Sule says Robbie is right. He isn't world class, just top class.
If he's top class, then Jesus Christ.
Robbie MD says Robbie comparing KDB to Kane. What are you smoking, mate? When has Kane put in a clutch performance to win Spurs something? Bale put in world class performances for Spurs, and that got him that transfer.
He put in world class performances for Spurs, but what did that win him? Nothing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna put it out there. Listen, I want to move on, right? So I'm putting it out there. For you guys, I mean, it's just a little,
Wow.
Kane,
you're a troublemaker.
De Bruyne, world class. I didn't even know he was playing at the World Cup.
It's a good debate, man. It's a good debate.
It's a good debate, right?
It's
We'll continue it on another. AMT, by the way, says the key with the super chat says the key to world class. The key word is world class. So KDB has not done it on the world stage. We'll come back to it. Anyway, talking of world class, let's get to the Arsenal game. I thought it was a good performance. Nicky. A good performance by Arsenal. Yeah. Arsenal, of course, going down 1-0. We haven't really been behind a lot this season. Arsenal normally get off to fast starts, particularly at home. Went down 1-0 to a bit of a controversial penalty. I must admit that I was thinking last night, he kept going. Why are we giving a penalty for? But when I watched it back, I was like, I think that was the right decision because he does sort of slightly knock him off balance. Fair play to Bowen. He didn't go tumbling down. He's still trying to be on it. I think that was the right decision, but I actually think that was a good decision by the referee to give the penalty. But West Ham went 1-0 up, but Arsenal came storming back in the second half. 3 goals. Saka again. He's been so good for Arsenal, as Martinelli's been. Actually, the whole front three scored. Eddie Nketiah, who's come in, and, a lot of weight's been put on his shoulders now with Jesus being out, possibly for a couple of months. And he also played well and got a good goal as well. I, as an Arsenal fan, I was really pleased with the response, really pleased with how he came back, because for me at the moment, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at a lot of teams. How are they going to come back after the World Cup? I like how Arsenal came back. Odegaard in particular, I thought played really, really well for Arsenal. Nicky, as a West Ham fan, what did you make of it?
Arsenal-wise, I think that's the best I've ever seen Arsenal, to be honest with you. They're hungry. There's a hunger about that side. You've got a good balance between experience and youngsters. I think some of the youngsters are, coming into their own. Saka's mesmerising player. I love watching him play. Odegaard was dictating things. We did our best, and this is the difference between us and you guys on the day, is that we did our best to shut up shop, to try and make it difficult for you to play. And we did it in parts first half, and I think Rice was having a really good game. As soon as we conceded that,
he was brilliant.
First half, he was.
Some of it, there was one time when he did like a recovery tackle.
Yeah.
And he's some player.
He was having real success. But I think we become undone by our own doing, really. There was no change. You take the lead at a team like that, you have to be proactive in to identify the problems. And if you look at the second half, Arsenal come out like a different animal. They was on it. The press was unbelievable. I've never seen a team press like that for 90 minutes of a game. They was on us. Wouldn't let us play. Wouldn't let us do this. And this is the thing I've been saying about Moyes, and people were questioning me and everything. He sat there and watched it. He just sat there and watched it. It's like sitting there and watch your mum get killed. That's what it was like. That was just like someone you got
to. Your mum get killed.
Yeah, so you got to watch your mum get smacked in the hammer with a hammer in the head 3 times before you even twitch. You just wouldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean? You can see the equaliser, and then you can see that I've got to say, a very poor second goal. Fabianski should have, you should never get beat like that on your near post.
Got done with the eyes, didn't he?
Got done with the eyes.
He thought he was going to be a cross, and
then the third goes in, and he just stood there and watched. And I can't, we've got players that can change games. I'm from the stands, I'm sitting there thinking, we've got to try and keep hold of this football. Every time we give it back to Arsenal, they're just coming forward. And we've got players that can't pass the football. The 2 fullbacks were getting roasted. Tighten it up, go 5 at the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just do something. If you get beaten and you've tried, then you've tried. But to sit
he did have a couple of injuries, didn't he? I mean, there's
a couple of injuries, but so have you, Rob. You know what I mean, so has everybody. Everyone's got a couple of injuries at this point in the season. But I'm going to give you a few stats. Yeah, that's going to shock you, West Ham wise. He's got calendar year 2022. 19 points we've taken out of 69 possible points. That's what David Moyes has taken in the league. That's relegation form. That's over obviously 33 games. Yeah, that would see you going down if it was in a season.
Yeah.
He's gone to the top 6 clubs as a manager of Everton, Manchester United, and West Ham and Sunderland. Top 6 clubs 70 times and not won.
That stat is just blows my mind.
Not won.
70 times.
70 times. And this is what I'm saying about Moyes. There is no...
That's why I knew Arsenal would win.
There is no evolution in his game. He goes there, he does the same... How can you do the same thing, Robbie, 70 times and think, this is the time when it's going to work? You know what I mean?
Does he know that stat, do you think? He doesn't, does he?
He's been told many a time, I'm pretty sure. you know what I mean?
me.
Like, yeah, I'll tell him if he wants to...
70 times and never got the right result.
I think it's the definition of madness.
Yeah, that is.
RGB says in the comments, it goes that your West Ham are not using Paqueta properly.
No. He's £50 million signing, square peg round hole. Plays deep for Brazil. Plays very well for Brazil. We've got a world class central defensive midfielder there. We'll go back to that word world class again. Who's playing out of his skin week in, week out. We pair him up with a donkey. You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect him to do? Put Paqueta there. He plays in that position for Brazil. He plays it very well. Put him and him there. Your midfield's
So I look at
solid.
that midfield, man.
It's ridiculous.
Declan Rice and
world class?
Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta in the same team in the midfield.
Is Declan Rice world class?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
But he's top class. He's top class, and he has the potential to be world class. I love him, man.
West Ham fans are starting to come to the realization
heartbeat.
he's leaving.
In a heartbeat, I'd have him at Arsenal, man. You know what I mean? He's a top player, and for England as well. I thought he had a good World Cup as well. He's a good player, but yeah, I mean, Black Kid says Dinosaur Moyes standing with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
70 games, that stat.
70 games.
The other stat I couldn't believe is that I think yesterday now, after that, 10 games, 10 defeats this season for West Ham. 1 point above the relegation zone. It is now starting to look a little dangerous now for... But the board are fully backing him, and they're still right behind him. But
there's questions now. I mean, we left the ground last night. People calling for him to go. Yeah. People are starting to chant. Moyes out. But
it's a shame because he's done a good job, and he came in, he stabilised things, he staved off any relegation. He actually had a great season last season. He stabilised the club. Got to the final of the Europa League. Semi-final, of the Europa League.
He stabilised the club when we was at the bottom, and he did the best job he could. And this is where I think he's a good manager, and he gets away with it because he does the best job with what he's got. He's always got the excuse, not really my players. We've only got a small squad. Blah blah blah.
As soon as he's given the license to go further,
license to the tools to adapt the style of play. Play in a different way. People can pull out notes from West Ham from 2 years ago, and they'd still be
relevant.
Yeah, relevant today. They don't have to do their own work. We play the same way. Souček has gone to pot. He's a one-trick pony. Done very well when he came in. He was a bit of a shock factor. People didn't really know him. He can only do limited amount of things. Premier League, people learn. They just say, this is what he does.
Again, he's in the midfield. That midfield, that's a good midfield, man.
He's
Souček.
He's terrible.
Souček.
He's terrible, yeah.
I mean, he was anonymous yesterday, but
yeah.
Foul. I mean, this quality.
They've spent a lot of money.
There's a lot of quality around that pitch. You know what I mean? It is baffling that Ben Rama. These are quality players.
He has his favourites as well. There's Thomas Souček plays week in, week out. He's been our worst player all season. I've never heard the manager say anything about him. He will constantly blame Ben Rama. He blamed Ben Rama. He named him specifically yesterday. We could have done a bit better if Ben Rama would have passed that ball through to Rice. He undercooked the. I mean, Rob, you was at the game. They was all as bad as each other. There was 4 or 5 players that were just bad. Antonio was anonymous. I think Soufal was really bad. Souček was terrible. And he's naming Ben Rama. I just don't get it. I just don't get. I haven't got time for this. Pettiness. I want someone that wants.
He doesn't like Ben Rama.
He doesn't like him, no. But he's been our best player. If you've got a personal vendetta against someone and you refuse to play him, even though it's the best thing for your club, and refuse to sort of back him or acknowledge that actually he's been our best player this season, get out. Because you're not doing the right thing for West Ham.
Jay Christie says Souček is Moyes' Fellaini.
Yes, he is, definitely, 100%.
It's mad that stat because he's actually managed good teams. Everton, West Ham, and he can't pick up one win in his 70.
No.
If he does go, or if he went, who would you want to replace him? Because that's the other thing as well.
The thing is, I think with Mr. Trick and I said this earlier on in the season, I would have got rid of him early when he spent all that money, because we were still riding on the back of, we've had 2 decent seasons, sort of challenging for Champions League places and everything else, yeah? And then your standing is higher, trying to attract someone at that point, you know, with that in memory, than trying to attract someone, say, come January, when you're in a relegation battle, you know? I said we should have gone for someone like Pochettino early on, just threw a little bit of money at him, you know, just said to him, come, because I think he would be, a good, expansive way of playing with the players that we've got. But at this point, I'd take someone like Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche?
I would, honestly, over Moyes, yeah.
But it's going to be the same thing.
It'd stabilise it. What I think the problem is now, Rob, yeah, is because he's been given the tools to play in different ways, but he still does the same thing. I think the players have lost faith.
Here's a suggestion here. I've forgotten his name.
I would take Sean Dyche, honestly, I would.
Akashan says, what about Roberto Martinez? He's out of a job now, isn't he? Belgium.
It depends. I don't. His time at Everton weren't great, was it? But then again, whose time at Everton is great? You know what I mean? Like you look at any manager that's been there, even Ancelotti. Yeah, Moisey was probably the best one in the.
Take Moyes.
Yeah, we'll swap. We'll just swap. Yeah.
Well, it's tough times for West Ham. One team that it's not tough times for at the moment is Newcastle. What an impressive performance by them against Leicester. I mean, you know, 3-0, absolutely blew them away, and then just controlled the game. I mean, they are a very good side. And I was saying to the guys this morning, I was doing a show over on AFTV. Remember, they're without Isak and Callum Wilson yesterday, right? And they still, and that guy Almiron, he's scoring worldies every week. That was another brilliant. I mean, Grealish must be. He's on another. You know, ever since Grealish said that thing about him, the guy's been on fire. I mean, another great goal yesterday.
A couple of players that are having resurgences. Joe Linton scored.
Yeah,
you know,
Joe Linton.
You know, they writ him off.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing this different
role. Turn him into like
now.
a left winger, left side.
Powerhouse as well in that midfield, isn't
it?
But when you look no Maximan either.
When you look at he wasn't starting. When you look at their 11, they've got like Longstaff in there. You know, it's not like as if it looks like money.
Sure.
It doesn't look like big splash.
But there's confidence.
Yeah.
There's a belief. I think
good manager as well.
Good manager. I think they've been sold a dream. I think they said like there's good things happening. And you know the scary thing is about this January is that like they have in the position that they are, they could go out and look for some top players and say, look what's happening here. You know, we've got
Maddison
easily, without a shadow of a doubt, they could get Maddison. But you know, they've got Isak is in there. They could easily go and get another top forward. I think a top forward would be attracted to them. They could get some top players, and they could mount a challenge. If they signed the right players.
I noticed when you said that, you just sort of went,
they could. Of course they could.
Matisse, listen, they're second in the league right now.
Second, but for me, I still don't think they have the depth to do it over the whole season.
They've got no European football as well.
Yeah, it's true.
If they can get through,
for me, challenge means you're actually seriously contenders for the Premier League.
Yeah, but they are in
April. So for me,
they are contenders at the moment.
I think it's too early to say, but top four is what I'm looking at the moment. I think if they're challengers for that, which they are, that would be
the gap
a massive statement.
Man United, who are sitting, I think, 6th, and the top. I think there's a clear gap happening there. There could be, you know, these teams could pull away.
There's 7 points ahead of United. Obviously, United played today.
Yeah.
But there's 7 points ahead of United at the moment. United do have 2 games in hand. 7 points ahead of them. 8 points ahead of Liverpool. Yeah? Right? Your team, Chelsea, they're 12 points ahead of.
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea have 2 games in hand. Why are they not contenders?
Too early. For me, you can't be contenders this early because
second in the league.
But if they were to fall away now, would you go back? When the Premier League's won, would you say Newcastle were contenders?
They've only lost 1 game this season.
It's a great start. I'm not going to put pressure on them. I'm not going to say they're contenders. I don't think they're contenders right now.
The madness is this is what I'm thinking though. The transfer window opens next week.
That's what I'm saying. For me, I have to see the transfer window, see what clubs do and don't do, and then I'll be like, okay, let's see what's going on.
They have the capability of.
They have the capability.
Do you know what?
I think they should be really pushing.
One of the legacies, which a lot of people don't realise, that Mike Ashley left as poor as a chairman that he was. Yeah, he balanced the books very well. They can literally go out and spend £1 billion and it wouldn't affect financial fair play for them because of the lack of spending that they've done over the years.
And they are looking very impressive. Billy Faraday says, I'm backing Newcastle to finish 4th.
Good shout.
They Newcastle spent 284 million in 18 months, says Igoris.
It's not really that much.
Well, I'll tell you, they're looking good.
Yeah, they are.
They look strong. They're aggressive.
Organised.
Yeah.
It's because the whole team's working for each other. You know, you see Almiron, Joel Linton, even though they got the goals, they're tracking back as well. They're really helping out.
Similar to Arsenal.
Yeah, and Bruno Guimaraes is just class. Like, he is just a proper player. Such a good player. They got Chris Wood up front. Do you know what I mean? It's not that glamorous, but they're getting the points.
You can contrast. You know what, right? You can kind of look at, and this is where you what you're saying about managers. Look at their players and look at West Ham's players.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
And is there a big difference in
isn't.
players and
There
personnel?
isn't.
You got Paqueta.
Yeah.
You got Declan Rice, Ben Rama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got very
Give that
good
to
players.
Eddie Howe, and
Zuma
what could be
when
happening
he's fit.
if,
You know
if
what I
Eddie
mean?
Howe had that team, they probably would be flipped.
So you know, but you can understand why Nicky's saying what he's saying about
They have more depth
about
as well.
West Ham.
They have much more depth than Newcastle.
But Newcastle at the moment, they've been exceptional, really playing well. Another big win as well yesterday for Liverpool. Liverpool beating Aston Villa by 3-1. It's a thoroughly entertaining game.
It was good.
Chances at both ends. But it was Liverpool, Salah again with another goal. Darwin Núñez, I think, could have had a couple.
Not sure how he got man of the match.
He's a handful, though.
He is a handful.
He's a handful.
Yeah.
If he can get his finishing. You know what I think with Darwin Núñez, yeah? I think it's the price tag. I think if he would have come like, say, 35 million, nobody would be on him as much as they are, right? But honestly, he's a handful. Every game I see him playing, he's an absolute handful. He's just a bit rash with his finishing.
Very rash.
He lacks composure.
Gakpo's coming in now, so that's going to be competition. I mean, Gakpo will probably play off the left.
Yeah,
you got Diaz as well. So I would be surprised if he doesn't come good because I think he's lucky that he went to Liverpool. They create a lot of chances for him. If he went to Chelsea, he'd be finished. There would be no chance for Núñez at Chelsea because he's not clinical enough.
He's raw.
He is raw.
He's raw.
Yeah, raw. That's the word. He's raw.
He's got all the tools. He just needs carving, and I think Klopp will carve him into a good player. He'll become a good.
I'm with Nicky. I think he's going to become a good player. But just go back on what you just touched on there. Cody Gakpo. Now I had to text Flex this morning, of course, of United View, right, and say, "Yo, I thought you told me when we was over because I remember when we was over in Qatar, right? Flex would be like, well." Gakpo will come in January and then he'll play there. And then, so I was like, I thought you told me Gakpo was coming to Man United. The Man United fans are very, very angry about it.
I don't think they should be.
They're blaming it on the Glazers, saying that the Glazers are not looking to spend money because they're looking to bail out. They're really angry. I mean, to get gazumped by their biggest rivals, Liverpool. I mean, that's a shock. I thought Gakpo was going to United. I think everyone thought, we didn't even know.
Yeah, I didn't even know Liverpool.
And Liverpool have just, I mean, it's a big coup for Liverpool. They've just come in and bang.
It's a bit surprising though, isn't it?
Come out of blue.
No, but is it surprising? Because
is that what they really needed?
When you think about it, Diaz is out again. He's had another setback.
Yeah, true.
So he's out. Jota's out.
That's probably played a big part then.
Jota's out as well. So they're looking at it, and they remember they've still got the Champions League as well as the league. They're thinking to themselves, we need to. I think it's a good move by Liverpool. Really positive one.
If you're a Liverpool
fan, you're thinking that's a real positive move because we're not waiting for those two guys to come back. We're saying, no, we're going to go and get another top player in. And Gakpo had a good World Cup.
Yeah.
Has had a good season for PSV. That's a good signing.
I think it's a good signing for Liverpool. I'm not sure if Man United should be bawling their eyes out about missing out on him. I still think because he's better off the left, and that's where Rashford's playing. Now, obviously, it's good to have competition, but that's also where Sancho's playing. So unless you're ready to
but Sancho's
not even so unless you're ready to throw in the towel on Sancho, you don't need 3 left wingers. And Rashford's on a lot of money, so it's not like as if any of them are disposable quickly.
Play through the middle, though.
He can, but they need a striker. Ten Hag says he wants a striker. Gakpo's not an out-and-out striker. So Do you get someone who can play striker, or do you get someone who is a striker? I'd rather get someone who is a striker, like an Ivan Toney. I think an Ivan Toney would have been brilliant for Man United, but obviously you wouldn't go and get him now. So
maybe they could convert Gakpo to a striker.
You could try and convert him, but again, is his all-round game ready to be a striker right now, which is what they need right now?
Even from out wide, his goal-scoring record is
his goal-scoring record is good. I don't know. I'm still waiting on him. I'm not joining the bandwagon of overhyping him just yet. He's done very well at Eredivisie, but I don't think he's some sort of unstoppable player. I still see things that
you wouldn't have had him at Chelsea.
No, actually, honestly not. Honestly,
serious?
I don't think he's what we need right now. No.
I think where Man United fans come from, and I've seen this a lot.
They're angry, man.
They're angry, yeah, but I think they've got this sort of feeling that anybody that's played in the Dutch league and plays for Holland is going to come to them because of the manager. And it's not working out like that, you know what I mean? Like
Gakpo, De Jong,
obviously they got Anthony after a lot of toing and throwing,
had to pay way over the top for him.
Yeah, but they just feel like that he's got this extensive knowledge of that league, and obviously he's well known in the league, and they think any sort of Dutch link player is going to come to them, and they sort of count their chickens before they hatch, really, don't they? You know what I mean?
Og says United need Osimhen or Vlahovic. Well, good luck trying to get Osimhen in January. No chance. Way. Gakpo is overrated, says Zach. I wonder if that's a United fan who's turned now. Akarash says Gakpo is similar to Mane, inverted winger. Right? I think it's honestly, when I saw that yesterday, I was like, that's a big coup for Liverpool.
Liverpool are weird.
United fans, as I said, I've spoken to a couple this morning, including Flex. They are not happy at all with this. You know, to lose Gakpo to your biggest rivals when, you know, they've had their heart set on him and everybody's been saying he's definitely going.
Are they ever happy? But honestly, are they ever happy? They haven't been happy for 20 years, I don't think.
It's a statement to the rest of the league, though, isn't it? That they've done that business so quickly. So everybody's got to, wisen up and act quickly if they want to make top four, because they're clearly trying to make a charge for it. Liverpool's season is really really on the line, so they have to make signings like this.
It's a big win for them. A big win for them yesterday for Liverpool, and that pushes them up the league into 6th place now on 25 points.
Conceded a lot of chances, though, Rob. You know what I mean? Like,
they do.
Early on as well, like, you know, I think a bit of ring rustness from Villa, but they could have conceded 2 or 3 in the first sort of 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Important win for Wolves yesterday as well. They moved off the bottom of the table. A last-minute absolute smash and grab against Everton, because Everton were dominating that game. And they won that a first win for the new manager, Lopetegui.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I was surprised that Everton couldn't be a little bit more, resolute back there. But it's a big win for Wolves because they've had a really poor season. But again, their injuries that they've had over the last year to different players, whether it be Neto, Jimenez, etc., it was always going to take its toll. When everybody's actually fully fit for Wolves, they've got a pretty good team.
You think they'll be all right this season?
With him in charge, I would assume so.
They've got a top-class manager now.
Yeah, I would assume so. He's a very intelligent manager. Yeah. He's got a good CV. I'd be shocked if they were to go down after making that change.
The team that dropped to the bottom, Southampton. Bit of a strange appointment that Nathan Jones won.
Is that the official appointment, not caretaker?
Yeah, that's the official appointment. Nathan
Where's
Jones.
he come from? He's come from Luton, that's it.
Right, so he's the manager now, and they suffered a really embarrassing defeat at home, 3-1 against Brighton. Brighton, by the way, up into 7th place, and a team that are, going really, really well. You know, they lost the manager, Graham Potter, but it hasn't affected them. They're still playing really, really good football. And that was another impressive win by them away at Southampton.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Brighton are they're a very, very good team. And
organised,
I think if they had more financial muscle, they could easily be knocking on the door as well for European places. And they already are. Whether they are able to consistently keep that going, once they get to that point of, right, we know we're safe, and then will they go on the beach, or will they continue to be ambitious and keep pushing? But they play brilliant football. They've got good technical players.
Impressive that they've lost Graham Potter to you guys, and they're still doing
But that's what happens when you have a proper system in place.
Yeah,
the next manager can just pick it up.
Legacy,
and Brighton's recruitment is always very clever with the players that they bring in to replace players, with the managers they bring in. They always make sure that they get someone that suits their identity. They had clear recruitment until we basically took everybody. But do you know what I mean? they know what they're trying to do from a year-to-year basis with different managers in
going to Southampton though, they look like a team that are throwing in the towel. to me.
Bottom of the league now.
Yeah, bottom of the league.
Well, fair enough, but they've just got a new manager.
Yeah, but I think they're open for the new manager bounce every time, and it's just not working for them.
It's a surprising appointment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To bring in a championship manager when you need to stay up.
Michael Beale was also another manager from the Championship that teams were looking at as well. So there's quite a few managers people were looking at. QPR, he was at, isn't it?
Yeah, I know that, but when you're that near to the bottom,
yeah,
I mean, don't you need someone a bit more experienced of the Premier League?
Maybe they just can't attract them.
I think they could if they went for a Dyche, they could get him.
But the
that's
amount
not
of
the Southampton.
Yeah, somebody like a Dyche.
Allardyce.
Yeah, but Southampton will never go for Allardyce or a Dyche. That's not the way that they want to play football. That's not the way that they're bringing the young players through the academy. It's just
could be playing in the Championship.
Could be playing in the Championship.
Yeah, ideas together.
Yeah.
Fulham. That's another team that's come up from the Championship and are doing really well this season. And that was an impressive win for them yesterday. 3-0 away. As a matter of fact, the Arsenal game was the only game where a home team won yesterday. Yeah. Apart from the Brentford game, which was a draw, all the other home teams lost. And Palace going down to 9 men. And Fulham and Mitrovic again on the score sheet. Impressive by Fulham. Fulham looking good at this moment in time. A lot of people were saying that they were going to go straight back down. They're up to 8th.
Yeah. Mitrovic, again, just ridiculous performance. Like, the guy is just, again, like Toney, they're having great seasons.
And like Toney, he's proved that he can do it in the Premier League.
Yeah. I had big reservations on him because obviously the last few times he's been in the Premier League, it hasn't really worked out for him. And there's a lot of strikers that go to the Championship, they ruin the Championship, and then they just can't do it in the Premier League. There's a long list of them. You know, but he's proved that he can do it, and he seems to have a little bit of everything. He's holding up the ball. He's a target man. He's getting into the box. He's very intelligent as well. He's aggressive. So kind of everything you need to be a proper Premier League number 9.
I like him, man.
He's really good.
I'd have liked to at West Ham.
Mentality looks spot on as well.
I wanted him to come to West Ham a couple of years ago. People laughed at me.
Not laughing now, are they?
Not laughing now. Man.
Right, there's a couple of games on today. Chelsea, your team, Matisse.
Yeah.
Face up against Bournemouth at home. Regulation 3 points?
Nope. No. There's no such thing at Chelsea anymore. We've lost like 4 out of our last 5. I mean, we should be beating Bournemouth.
At home?
Yeah, they've lost 4 out of the last 5 as well. So, well, if anything, it's got a draw written all over it. No, we should be beating them. And I am semi-confident, but with Chelsea, what I've witnessed, I'm not going to be, jumping at the gun.
What's wrong at Chelsea?
Points because even in the friendly,
what's wrong?
Messy. There's a lot. I mean, at the moment, Potter has finally had some. This is probably his first period of time to actually work with players. Obviously, the World Cup, but most of the players did go to the World Cup. So I think partly it's down to that. And he hasn't really been consistent in his lineups. He doesn't know what his best team is yet. He's been changing formation system a lot, so there's no consistency from week to week. Even in approach and style. I don't even mind him changing formations because he's known for doing that at Brighton anyway, but he doesn't. 1 minute where we won't want to sit off at home to Man United and counter-attacks are not happening. We're just not even getting out of our half. Next minute, we're looking to dominate possession against Zagreb. People are bouncing again, thinking that we're something, but it's very inconsistent. I think there's a lack of balance in the team. There's a lack of cohesion because 1 minute some players suit this system, like Ziyech we saw from Morocco. He can play in a 4-3-3 out on the right flank. He looked great. He was one of their best players. Pulisic was decent for America.
Yeah.
Quick transitions, moving the ball quickly forward. But then in midfield, we don't have the players to maybe play that 3-man midfield. Like you say, you've got a Partey or you've got a Rice or you've got a Casemiro, you've got a Rodri. We don't have that player in there. So if we play that, we might be a little bit more exposed on transitions. We've got quite a lot of slow players. Azpilicueta, Silva, Jorginho, not the quickest. So there's a combination of factors. I think Reece James is also a massive miss. It always is when we lose him. He's now back for tomorrow. And also, I just feel like you guys got togetherness in your team. Everybody's just buzzing. You've got rid of the players that don't believe in the project, right? Man City, cohesion. We don't have that.
Have you brought in too many players?
I wouldn't say it's too many players. I just think we brought in the wrong players. I wasn't happy about Aubameyang coming in because why is he coming here? I said, what's the motivation for coming here? Why do you want to come to Chelsea? What's the reason? Is it just because you need to leave Barcelona? He's got an Arsenal tattoo on, for God's sake. In the Arsenal game, he's there liking Troops' posts after losing. He doesn't care, Robbie. And it's like, how many times are we going to bring in players with a little bit of that don't really care if we win or lose mentality? 1 week to the next, we just play when we feel like it. And for me, he didn't even suit us anyway, systematically. He's a player that needs service and we don't have a lot of creativity. So I would have preferred a Gabriel Jesus. He hasn't scored a lot of goals, Arsenal are top of the league because he creates, he drops deep, he links things up. So I was never in for that Aubameyang signing. Same with Ronaldo. I didn't want him. Now look how that's turned out. Do you know what I mean? He's going over to Saudi Arabia for the rest of the season. So for me, I just think some players we brought in have not been smart moves, and Aubameyang probably wanted to play for Tuchel. Manager gets sacked. Again, just it's too much confusion. It's all over the place.
Chelsea, you think they made top 4 this year?
No.
No, ooh, that was quick.
No, I don't see it. I don't see the consistency. I don't think Potter's going to get them together quick enough. I think there's other teams that are, will pull away. I think Liverpool are going to start to come into their own. If they're going to do something, Chelsea, they need to do something now. And I don't know. There's confusion around Chelsea at the minute, man. You don't know what you're going to get. They've had the same thing for years and years and years. The same systems. Got new owners now. I don't know. I couldn't answer. Matisse is the best place to answer because I just don't know.
Even when we signed Sterling, I was afraid that we would over rely on him because we wouldn't buy another player on the other side for some creativity, and that's exactly what we went and done. He started really well first 3-4 weeks, scoring goals, kind of dragging the team to points, and then now he's fallen off as well. And then we've started to play him at wing back.
Wing back.
So, but again, we're playing the wing back system because we need to maybe look after some other players. I don't know. Koulibaly as well, he hasn't been good since he's come in. He hasn't hit the heights that we expect him to hit. He's been a bit rash. He's been over-aggressive. Is it because he's playing the back three, he's not comfortable? I personally think it's because, again, there hasn't been any consistency. The manager's changed. He came in under Tuchel. Now we've got Potter. He's one of those players that was at Napoli. It was kind of a family type of feeling. Those players in Serie A that just don't leave club. He was very, regimented. Everything was just there every week. Same thing. A little bit more homely.
Yeah,
we're not like that.
We're at Chelsea,
a bit erratic.
It's strange. I think
he's unsettled.
On the one hand, you bring in all these big names, but then on the other hand, you bring in all these young players.
A lot of young players
for the future, but then none of them are playing. Really, to that, it's a real. I mean, it's a hard job for Potter to try and find a mix because if he does then start saying, right, I'm going to go with the youth, he's going to put his nose out of joint for all of those older players that are there. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. And then I see today who've been linked with more players, like linked with a defender, a centre-back today from France. You've been linked with João Felix today. Do you need João Felix? I don't know. When I look around your team, I don't know. It's just like Chelsea just chasing the names is what it seems like.
Well,
rather than chasing what's going to fit.
That French defender's not a massive name, but there's a certain Levi Colwill at Brighton that I would love to see come back because I think he's got top potential. I'm not one of these people that will just say any young player. I don't think Gallagher's particularly all that special. If I'm completely honest, I don't think he's gonna change the world in this team. But I think Levi Colwill has a good chance to be a future centre back at the club. But it is a little bit all over the place because they want to do the whole multi-club model and they haven't got that actually outlaid yet with the different clubs to send these youngsters to. But from the outside looking in, it does look chaotic. I would love for him to just go with some of the young players because then we're buying into the future because we're not performing now. So I don't want to see people in their prime in the team like Aubameyang that are not really performing and when we're not doing anything. I'd rather see young players.
It's a weird thing, but
it's politics.
When you look at Chelsea, they don't seem to have a lot of players in form at the same time. They always seem to be relying on one. You know what I mean? He said a couple of weeks ago, Sterling was dragging them through. Everyone else was poor. Then all of a sudden, Sterling drops off and they've got to rely on someone else. They never seem to. There's no cohesion there. Yeah. They don't. There's no free flowing football going on from them at the moment.
He has to be ruthless, like Arteta was in a way. That's the one thing I gave Arteta credit for as soon as it happened was the Aubameyang situation.
He's got time as well.
He does, but if he starts getting too cozy and soft with the players, like the players that don't want to be there or won't work for him, and he doesn't get them out in January, get a few of them out, then he's not going to be serious enough. He has to be dealing with the big personalities.
This is not the first time that this has happened to Chelsea. So you can't write Chelsea off. They finished 10th before. I think in 2015, am I right? 2016?
Yeah.
Finished 10th.
I think, the thing is right, Nicky, it's changing. There's a lot of good teams around at the moment.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean? So Chelsea got to get their act together.
It's different, yeah. There's a lot
get their act together really soon. Man United versus Nottingham Forest. That's the 8:00 game tonight. You would have thought that United, they've been hit a bit of form. United, you know what I mean? And Nottingham Forest still right down by the bottom.
They have a little bit of form as well, Forest.
Yeah, you'd expect United to win this, wouldn't you?
I think it should
at home,
done and dusted.
They should
pretty early,
yeah. And then Man City go away to Leeds on Wednesday, and that's an interesting game because all of a sudden Arsenal and Newcastle putting a little bit of pressure on Man City. It's a must-win. And Leeds, when you come straight off the back of the World Cup, not the easiest place to go to, you know what I mean? Because you know one thing, they're going to be full of energy. Yeah. They're going to have that crowd behind them. That's a very hostile place to go to. You know what I mean? They've got great support behind them. That's not the easiest game. I mean, you know what? It's one of these games, right? You know why class games like this is difficult sometimes? Because when you look at it, the expectation is you're going to win. Yeah. But it's not an easy win. It's a difficult place to go to.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, how many more times can City drop points before people really start to get on their case? Because I personally need them to step it up because I can't deal with Arsenal winning the league. You probably would say the same, right? Because we live in London. There's a lot of Arsenal fans on the streets. You don't care? There's Arsenal fans everywhere in London. Everywhere you go.
What would be wrong with us winning?
I don't need that.
You're a hater, aren't you?
No, I'm not a hater. I need peace. I need peace. I prefer peace.
So you would be peace. What about when you lot win the league?
We're pretty humble about it.
Yeah, you started laughing immediately. You know what I mean?
Listen, I just don't. I want peace. I don't want problems. Do you know what I mean? And you guys
problem, man. It'd be lovely.
Look what's happening at the moment. I'm actually starting to get slightly jealous. Did you see what was happening with their fans? They had like this whole ultras fire and brimstone. It looked like as if they was in some sort of BFG, some sort of potions cooking up on. I saw that, man. Bro, it was insane. Like I thought I was in some Eastern European like away day. It was unreal.
Someone discovered a drum.
Yeah, somebody got a drum.
Yeah, I don't know where that's
was that you?
They've had that drum. They've had that drum since last season.
Nah, man.
What they've been doing is you know what I've got to give Mikel, just going back on Arsenal, give Arteta a lot of credit, because he said he wants to bring a closer connection between the fans and the players. And it used to be like that. Yeah. And now it's like this.
Nah, man.
Because yesterday, in that game, when we went 1-0 down, I can tell you a few seasons ago, I'd be like, and it weren't. His fans just immediately started singing. So there is a great bond at the moment.
Shame you can't bring those into the ground, isn't it?
What's that?
All
the flares and all that. Yeah, you can't bring it in. But listen,
they get on my nerves, man.
What, the flares?
Yeah, they get on my nerves.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the ground when they're being let off. I'll tell you that. You can't see anything.
No.
But yeah,
it's a tough game. It's a
tough game for City. Tough game.
Haaland's hometown. Yeah. Do
you
know what I mean? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, and they faltered a little bit before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And what I've found about Man City, and I did say this at the beginning of the season. I feared that they might do this. They're becoming reliant on Haaland. Yeah. They're becoming reliant on him.
But they've got Alvarez to come back, who had a
really
Kevin De Bruyne is stepping up for them. He was
De Bruyne is brilliant against Liverpool. For his club, fantastic. And he was brilliant. He was brilliant against Liverpool.
I think you do come naturally reliant on players like him.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenon. You give him the ball, he normally scores a goal. But he has off days. I just find that sometimes that they're a bit. When they had last season, they had them front three interchanging all the time. Sterling would go, Jesus would go, Mahrez would go, and all this sort of thing. There seemed to be like he's a focal point now, and it becomes. I think it's just
it's not a bad focal point to have, though.
No, it's not bad, but it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah, I think so. But I actually wouldn't mind that, considering how lethal he actually is.
I wouldn't mind that.
The guy scores goals.
But then if he's not on it, you can't afford to lose too many.
But he's very rarely not on it. I mean, no one's ever going to be on it 100% of the time. But he delivers like the postman.
Yeah, of course.
Not the Royal Mail.
Of course.
Like, serious.
But look in the Brentford game before the break, he wasn't on it. And that was it. They didn't have an answer.
They need to have a plan B.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed with City this season is that they can be got at, though. You know what I mean? Defensively. You know what I mean?
Laporte is slow. Did you see him the other day?
Did you see him get burnt by Nunes? I mean, I thought I was running and Nunes was running against me. He got absolutely left. They can be got. Listen, they've got a good defence still, but they can be got at. It'd be an interesting game because I remember when we went to Leeds, man, they're not a pushover, man.
No.
They are on it. You know what I mean?
They will come. Make it
the only
tough.
thing is whether they can hold out for 90 minutes defensively against Man City.
To finish.
I'm not sure they
Brentford played up front a few times before the break, and his finishing was.
I remember Rodrigo was playing well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really, really interesting game. Let's get some predictions in from you guys before we end the show. Let's start with that one: Leeds versus Man City. Ma.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 City win.
I was going to say the same, 2-1 City.
Yeah, I think I can't go against that. Come on, Leeds, though. I'd love that. But
if they drop points, will you believe?
It's still too early.
Nah.
You know what? I think if we get to the end of January, we got some tough games in January, Arsenal.
Yeah.
We've got Tottenham away. Always do badly there in recent times.
We beat them at the Lane.
No, they awful at the top.
That was at our place. Every time we go there. We got Newcastle at home. Yeah. We got United at home. If we can get through that, and we still, then you start to. But we're still a way to go.
Nketiah scored.
Still a way to go. It could be. But I think I've got to go for City. Unfortunately, in that game. Man United versus Nottingham Forest. Nicky.
4-0.
4-0.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go 2-0.
I'll go 3-1. 3-1 to Man United. Chelsea versus Bournemouth. Nicky.
3-1 Chelsea.
1-0 Chelsea.
1-0?
Yeah.
2-1 Chelsea. That's what I'm going to go for. Listen, guys, I want to thank you all for watching the show today. Our first one back. Loads of you been in the chat as well. Really appreciate that, man. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports. We've got a big 2023 coming up for all of you guys who supported all the content throughout the World Cup. It was brilliant. We've got a special full-length sort of World Cup documentary that we did, which is about an hour and a half long. I urge you to watch it. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, right? So make sure you watch that. And that's out right now on DR Sports. Dropped on Christmas Day. So make sure you check that out. And make sure you check out all of our great content coming up. There's lots of football here on the channel. Also, get across and check out Nicky on West Ham Fan TV. You want to know anything about West Ham, these are the guys. And get up and check out Matisse on his channel as well for all the latest Chelsea talk as well. You'll be doing a watch along to the Chelsea game.
I will, yeah.
So
forbid.
Make sure you check him out, right? Thanks for watching the show, and we will be back very soon.